it's 2021 and my god, I have not done a video in absolutely ages. Well, welcome back to 2021, I guess. 2020, we all know how that year went, we don't need to talk about that. I have mentioned in one of my last videos why my video content might be a bit funny. I was thinking I might be able to do at least one video a week. That wasn't the case. I'm in a bit of a better position health-wise right now, so I thought I'd give this a go. I'm still nowhere near out the woods though, but this is something that might help a lot of people who, like myself, have been shielding over 2020 and into 2021, and who knows how much longer that might have to continue. We'll see in due time, won't we? But as some of you might know, I do like to exercise, I do like to work out, I do like to keep fit as best I can. That's not been really too easy over the last year or so. Weight training has exhausted me when I've already been feeling massively exhausted. So I thought I'd give resistance bands a try. I have got other kinds of bands, I just thought that this kind of band might give a bit of a different edge. One problem with some of the bands that I already have is that they're not really loops, they're just sort of lengths. So if you imagine one of these with some scissors taking it to just split it in half or something like that, yeah, that doesn't really give you the same kind of resistance that these do. Yeah. However, these do give a lot more resistance, as you might be able to guess by how much I'm pulling it apart. Of course, without the context of how heavy that is, you don't really know how impressive that may or may not be. To give some context, this one weighs around 40 pounds in draw weight, not actual physical weight. I mean, if you had a 40-pound piece of rubber band, it would be bigger than a tyre. But basically what that means is that to stretch this band apart, you need to be applying at least 40 pounds of pressure to it. The others are significantly lighter with each attempt. This one I believe is 30, this one I believe is 40. No, sorry, that's not 40, that's 40. The grey is 40, the red is 30, this is 20. This blue one is either 15 or 10, and this green one is probably at least 10 at least. So combined together, that's about 110 pounds of draw weight that you would need to apply if you were going to use them all together at the same time, which you can do in certain situations. The more resistance you've got, the better, so to speak. I should of course point out that this is the box they came in. Premium quality guaranteed, combining the power of mind and body from Hybrid Sport. The rest of the box is just a bit bland really, but it does tell you it's durable, odour-free, high elasticity, recyclable, all natural latex, and it's a pocket gym, which is kind of true, given that it gives you this little bag to put them in. And yes, you can indeed grab all of them, pretty much any way, which way you like, and just grab them all in. It does work quite well. Of course, doing it like that does not leave much space for the instructions, but you can still put them in rather fine and dandy and whatnot. Bit of a token gesture with this zipper thing. It does do the job somewhat. And it kind of makes me think of a medieval purse coin, or at least the depictions we get of medieval purse coins in fantasy. Hybrid Sport, just so you don't forget whose product you're using here. The actual instructions are very well written. They're all written in very good English. This is not something that's just been translated badly in China. You know, you can actually understand these without laughing at them for being blatantly stupidly written. It gives you quite a good selection of different exercises. I'm sure other people have created their own types of exercises that they can do with this. Total body, lower body, upper body, arms and so on and so forth. There's basically plenty of options available, and of course there's plenty of YouTube videos showing how you can actually use them, putting together all kinds of different programs. Like I said, one of the reasons I bought this was because, simply, to put it simply, weight training itself at home, although I do have plenty of weight training gear, is absolutely exhausting me when I'm already feeling exhausted due to my own circumstances with Crohn's disease flaring up. I'm still in a bad place with that at the moment. I'm getting a lot of tiredness and fatigue, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to turn this into a video update about myself. I may do a video update separately on that matter later on. But I did think that these are probably a very good idea in order to work out without overdoing it. And the thing is, they do work quite nicely. I've been using these for about 3 or 4 months now, and one of the things I would recommend when you are using them is to wear weightlifting gloves. You know, I've got this pair that I've had for a couple of years now, and the reason for that is, depending on what kind of exercises you're doing, when you end up stretching them over your hand, for example, or over your fingers, you can end up tearing your skin somewhat. I've wound up getting quite a bit of not callus as such, but just loose skin that you might be able to see just on the skin flap there. And the same's happened on my right hand as well. That's not eczema, that's just, you know, overusing the bands because of the way they end up going over the hand. Wearing the gloves does minimise that quite a lot. And of course, as you can probably tell from here, they do have a bit of a worn out look, which is why I actually bought 2 of them. So let's see if we can open up this other pack and just take a look at what's in here. What kind of quality are they in? Well, you can see that they are all neatly packed in cellophane, as all good products are. You can see the instructions, and there's also this little card, a free £3 Amazon gift voucher because I bought them on Amazon. Yeah. Whether you choose to do anything with that or not is up to yourself. I don't think you're actually going to get anything from there. No, there's just something you'd have to do with some sort of product code. But just to compare these while they're still in their bags, they still look nice and shiny compared to the other ones. And we'll just compare that for absolute certainty by taking them out, and you can see, yeah, straight away the colour difference is instantly noticeable. This is a lot cleaner, whereas this is obviously more stretched out and obviously ruined somewhat because it's actually been used. But of course, you know, that's what's going to happen with this sort of thing anyhow. I actually bought 2 completely separate kinds of more sort of the rubber tube kind of design of resistance band, which you can pull apart that way, attach handles and whatnot, and put them into door frames and so on. And the earlier pair of that, the earlier set of that, within about a month or so, got completely discoloured. The other one, that's still looking absolutely fine. It's still bright and colourful and cheerful. I should have done reviews of those at some point, but of course I didn't. I'll try to resolve that at some point. But of course we have 2 bands weighing around £30 altogether. Draw weight, how much force you need to pull them apart. Yeah, I can just about do that. It's £60, basically treating it like it's a chest expander exercise. That probably means I need to do more chest expanding. Hey-ho. But of course, one thing that, well, one hobby or interest some people might have that this might be very useful for in general would be archery. You know, basically because long bows and all other kinds of bows measure their strength in draw weight, just like these do. Of course, the difference is that you've got a bow in one hand and a string in the other, and you're trying to pull them apart. And the bows, you know, they can vary in their draw weight quite drastically. A hunting bow would be anything as relatively light as £40. This is obviously a bit heavier. And of course, the drawing method is a bit different. But war bows could be anything up to about £160, from what I understand of the historical YouTubers. Experiments using the bows that were recovered from Mary Rose, for example, showed that archers on that particular ship must have been really strong people in order to pull the bows that they were using. So yes, I can hardly recommend these, whether you're using them in the traditional workout sense as provided by their own exercise instructions, or even if you're trying archery poses, which, yes, I have been doing. And I'll tell you what, I'll even throw in some footage of me doing that for you right now. Okay, so starting off with the £40 band. Yeah, I can do that quite easily. One thing I have been doing that is perhaps a little bit different from what most archery people have been doing, is I've been doing it at both sides. So I'm just going to hold the pose for a little bit. I've got no idea how long I'll be talking to you in this sort of regard, but just doing it either side, I believe, is a good way to keep the muscles from going imbalanced. Again, that's £40. Let's add another £30 to that. And this time around, let's just do some actual drawing. Oh, So that's 10 times one side on. 2, 5, 6. And a little bit of a hold at the end, just to stretch the muscles out a bit. Yes, you can very much do pretty much anything you want with them in terms of just pulling it and then holding it for an extended period, or just drawing it back up all the times. One thing I like about this particular kind of band is that from an archery point of view, it's much closer to being more like what the actual bows are like themselves. You've got room to have the bow held in one hand, the string not that much further apart, and then pulling apart. And I quite like that. Other things that I've tried, more traditional bands that are just not really loops like these, or even the rubber hoses that you can get as well, they just don't seem like they've got quite the same kind of resistance as these do. But that's perhaps an argument for another time. You can still use them in that kind of regard, but it's not always necessarily the same thing. It doesn't feel like it anyhow. And if you are into archery, there's no reason why you can't make use of the existing bow you have, wrap one of these around the outside of your bow and then on the other side of the string, and again practice that way, just to increase your overall strength overall, without going to the expense of going and getting another bow. At least until you're satisfied that you can actually draw that bow. So it'll save you a bit of money in the long run. But even if you're not interested in archery, just for general exercise, yeah, they're definitely worth taking with you around the house, going off on holiday. Not that really anybody can go around on holiday at the moment, but hey ho, hey ho. Yeah, definitely recommended.